Hey there, everybody. This is Jessica White. I hate doing recordings, so I'm super nervous about doing this, but we're going to try it out. So I did my research on the self-control theory as it pertains to criminology. What I wanted to know, or what the self-control theory basically is it's asking if we are completely in control of ourselves, or if there are other variables and factors in our lives that affect our self-control. And there are. During my synthesis paper, I learned that um, the first 10 years of your life basically set the foundation for the behavior that you're going to have for the rest of your life, which I thought was super interesting. There's theories and research that once those first 10 years are set, those behaviors can't be changed. And so people have said there's no rehabilitation for criminals, and there's no type of therapy, there's no type of rehab for people with addictions. Once you have set down the path of delinquency, that's pretty much it. That's who you are, which I was pretty shocked to find out. Um, but that's what I did. I wanted to know more about that. So my synthesis paper, I blindly picked out articles that I thought were going to work well because they were very research based. I found that they were very hard to read, and I should have picked different articles, but I love that the synthesis paper actually set up the research paper, and I knew exactly what I was looking for the research paper. And so the research paper came a lot easier for me. It was easier to write. I actually enjoyed writing it. I found some really fantastic articles to use in my research paper, which my thesis was, is there a way to rehabilitate criminals? Is there something that we can do to prevent it? Or is there something that we can do after the criminal behavior has set in to change that person's path in life? And I did find some really great things, mainly therapy. There was something called logotherapy where it's self your self-worth and your health is based on your meaning. Some people commit crimes, or they fall into drugs because they don't have any type of self-meaning. They have no purpose in life. They're kind of bored. They don't feel accepted by their peers. And so they group up with other people who feel the same way, and they go out and do drugs or commit crimes, and they're victims to all of that. So with my working documents, I kind of have a very personal connection to this. There's a reason why I am going to ODU to be a teacher. However, I've done so many papers on standardized testing and inclusion classrooms, and I just wanted to do something that I was interested in about learning, and something that pertained to my life. And so just full disclosure, my husband was actually murdered August 21st, 2016, and so I really wanted to try to understand how someone could do this to someone else. And you see it on TV, and I watch all the shows, and I always have. ID Discovery, everything, and until it really happens to you, you're not really faced with why. I'll learn the how, but the why is what really eats at me. So for my working documents, it's really truly two items that I would use, and one of them I am going to use. So the very first one is a letter to a congressman, and I picked Bobby Scott. He actually serves both Norfolk and Newport News. Norfolk is where the gentleman was born, and then Newport News is where the crime was actually committed. And so I thought it was a really great thing. I may actually send this off, but what I found with my research is that during those first 10 years, the community around at-risk youth is crucial. So two-parent households is obviously ideal, and in this day and age, that's not really possible. My children are now growing up in a single-parent home, so I worry about how they feel connected to the people around them and their family. But the community is actually something that can step in and have those programs like Boys and Girls Club. Girls Inc. is another great one, even Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, so you can stop the behavior before it actually starts. So what this is a letter to Mr. Scott, and it's asking him to turn his attention to community programs, um, and also I also brought up the uh, two therapy programs that I found that did have research that they worked for those who are already in jail to change their lives once they get out. Um, Talks about all of the research that I found. I laid out um, my argument for why he should look into these programs. And so I'm thinking about sending that off. Talks about intervention and prevention. That's obviously the ideal, but also what we can do after it's already started. So um, after this letter, I was going to do an infographic on facts about crime, and then I was also going to do a pamphlet for victims about what um, the next few days after the crime happens and what you should do. And um, it just couldn't get it together. I love doing infographics, but it just I wasn't inspired, and so I actually decided that my second document was going to be my victim statement, my victim impact statement, which I had to write and I've been putting off for almost 2 years. We have the trial coming up May 22nd and May 23rd, and so I have to present this anyways in court. So I wrote this. It's very raw. It's how I feel. And so it's a real life document that is actually going to be used. And I thought, why not use this for this project? It kind of forced me to write it. I've been putting it off forever. And so I think it turned out okay. But it's actually going to be used. And so it's a real life working document. And I thought, what a better way to kind of end this project was to do something so personal. So that is, I guess, my semester. What I researched, I had a really good time with this, learned a whole lot. It definitely helped healing, and I look forward to using this information in the future. And so thank you for watching, and y'all have a good night and good luck with the rest of the semester.